Yo, back with another reaction. Nah, man. This is why you trade for Jimmy Butler. Now, other day, Curry was out. Somebody else had to stand on business. Somebody else had to stand on business, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jimmy Butler. About to see what this vid talking
With just
about.
over a minute remaining in the third quarter, Giannis hit this layup to give the Milwaukee Bucks a
Top
6-point
power
lead
forward in
over the
league,
Golden
man.
State Warriors. Now, just to add context, this was a Warriors team with no Steph Curry on the second night of a back-to-back after a terrible loss to the Denver Nuggets. And at this stage,
Should have won that game, bro. Too many turnovers going on.
the Bucks had outscored the Dubs 32-12 in the third quarter. It looked like the Warriors just didn't have enough firepower against a healthy Milwaukee without Steph Curry. Step forward Jimmy Butler, who decided it was his time to step up, because following a three from Buddy and some free throws, watch Jimmy get the ball.
The combination of Jimmy, Draymond, and low-key Gary Payton. That's special right there. That's special.
With a few seconds remaining and force AJ Green into a terrible foul, going to the line, and all of a sudden, a 6-point lead had been erased. Jimmy then followed that up by hitting an and-one jump shot before then getting the ISO against Gary Trent Jr., getting to his spot and rising up. But he wasn't done there, because Jimmy continued his takeover throughout the fourth quarter. This time getting the handoff from Dre, and watch him draw Brook Lopez away from Quinton Post, and we all know Mr. Post does
in the
corner very often, and Jimmy was at it again, this time blowing straight past Kuzma before stopping on a dime to float it in over Giannis. And that wasn't all Jimmy did, with him recording 3 more assists and getting to the free throw line a couple more times in the fourth quarter, but that's the Jimmy Butler effect. In the space of 6 minutes against a good Milwaukee team with the Warriors on the ropes, Jimmy Butler took over, playmaking, scoring, defending, and helping will the Dubs to a victory that no one expected. And this right here is why you trade for Jimmy Butler. This is a team that now has a second superstar who can go.
There's so many versatile players, like, bro.
Off for 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. And I know we've all thought the same thing at times. Jimmy is amazing, but why isn't he taking more shots?
He don't have to.
He didn't need to the first month. As a Warrior, he was happy playmaking and taking a back seat, allowing the likes of Moses Moody, Quinton Post, Steph Curry to all benefit from his playmaking. But that doesn't mean we forget how good he is as a scorer, and he reminded everyone this just a few days ago. When it's my time, you'll know it's my time. Until then, I'm going to pass the ball to the open man, get my guys some jumpers, get them out in transition, and we're gonna keep winning. Well,
that was a nod for self answer, Jimmy. That's what we need, bro.
It was Jimmy's turn without Steph Curry in the lineup, and he did not disappoint. But before we talk more about Jimmy or Pods or even Buddy, who all stepped up offensively, the Warriors do not come close to winning this game without the help of one man in particular. I'm talking about Draymond Green. At 6'6", having the ability to guard the 7-foot unstoppable force that is Giannis Antetokounmpo at 35 years old, this right here is the example. This right here is why Draymond Green will go down as one of the greatest defenders of all time.
Nah, that's facts though. Aside from all the WWE allegations, knocking people out and stuff, bro, he's a good defender. You know? Can't sleep on that. I don't care what you.
And the most unique defender of all time. I mean, just look at him here, sliding over to prevent the Dame 3. He then slides back to Dame, back to Giannis, and then with Giannis having a full head of steam, look at Dre's ability to block him at an angle whilst backtracking. I mean, watching that in slow-mo doesn't do it justice. Look at the genius of this man defensively. Or here, where he chases Giannis around the screen. He makes sure that pocket pass isn't there for Kuzma, and and with Post doing a good job at slowing him down, Dre then comes from the backside to block his shot. Look at Draymond on this play, where Giannis sets the screen for Trent. Dre initially slides over to force Trent to pass, he then has to slide back to guard Giannis, and look at the physicality to keep him from getting to the rim, bodying him to the spot he wants him to get to, which is the turnaround midi, and it's a miss. And with Draymond guarding Giannis, he shot 0 of 7 from the field. He didn't make a single field goal in the fourth quarter, and anytime it looked like he might have had a chance to score an easy bucket, Draymond made sure to foul him, which some people might not consider as great defense, but given Giannis's free throw ability and how often he can finish through contact, limiting him to just free throws and not and one opportunities or easy buckets at the rim, that is great defense, and that's what forces him into those kind of jump shots that if you're the Warriors, you live with. And just because he's Draymond, he can do all of this and then switch on to Kevin Porter Jr. and block his three-point jump shot. That is what you call guarding 1 through 5. That is what you call 35-year-old Draymond putting on a masterclass against one of the best, most unstoppable players in the NBA, who has 5 inches on him, pause, and Draymond has no right to be able to stop him. But we know that Draymond is just that good. And I know what some people are thinking. Am I going to mention the Warriors' loss against the Nuggets just the night before in a game with no Jokic and no Murray? Yeah, it was terrible. And everyone on the team and every fan knew that. But just to put things into perspective, the other hottest team in the league, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who the Warriors have been fighting with for that 6th seed, on the same night, they lost to a Pacers team with no Tyrese Halliburton, no Pascal Siakam, and no Miles Turner. Not to mention, the Warriors became the first team in NBA history to shoot under 30% from 3 and under 60% from the line in the same game. This was an outlier of outliers, and that's why the Dubs lost. It's still an L, and I'm not discounting that, but you can't look at this game with no Steph and the way Jimmy played and tell me this isn't a different team. Every team loses games, but the Warriors team from
is Yo on the bench happy? He got a mad. Look at Yo on the bench over there.
And tell me this isn't a different team. Every team.
You on the wrong team, bro. You can't be doing that, bro.
But the Warriors team from 3 months ago had 0 chance of beating Giannis and Dame with no Steph, and particularly after that third quarter. And it wasn't just Jimmy and Dre, but there were 3 other guys in particular that I want to give credit to. Brandon Podziemski was called the worst player in the NBA a month into this season. Since then, he has been consistent, he has been reliable, and even after being injured for a few weeks, he returned and hit 2 huge clutch threes. Again, demonstrating why this team is different. Because after Moses Moody had been phenomenal for the last 2 months, he struggled against the Bucks. But Pods was there to help close out the game. And the other guy who helped close out the game and has just straight up been phenomenal for the last month was Gary Payton II. Is he just a reliable 3-point shooter now? Is he just someone that you can throw the ball to in the corner no matter the situation, and he's going to knock?
If he can hit those in the playoffs, that's going to be huge. That's going to be
down, because that's what it seems like for GP2. Not to mention the defensive energy is up. He's finishing around the rim, which I cannot give enough credit to. His push shots, his floaters, his hook shots. They call him the little big man for a reason. GP2's resurgence is something that should not be overlooked. And there are numerous games over the last month that the Dubs don't win without GP2. They also don't win it without Quinton Post. Guys, this guy was given to the Warriors for cash considerations. He's now starting on one of the best teams in the Western Conference, and I don't know about you guys, but every single time he shoots the ball, I expect it to go in. I'm not calling him the Steph Curry of big men, but I'm calling him the Steph Curry of big men, because Quinton Post is an absolute deadeye, and watching him spot up in the corner is something special. And you know what? I did make a video about Draymond Green's defense on the Golden State Warriors channel a couple of weeks ago, which you might have already heard me talking about, but I just thought after this performance, if you haven't seen that video, this is the best advertisement for watching that, because Draymond Green is one of a kind. If you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like, subscribing to the channel would be cool. Most importantly, have a great day.
Watch out for the Warriors. Simple.